What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some expectations for this upcoming week, what might cause some volatility in the stock price, and just throw one idea at you that I just saw that is kind of out of the box, but you know what? It could work. So I wanted to kind of share that with you. But first, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up and subscribe. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data for this upcoming week, you have retail sales on Monday, permits and starts on Tuesday. Wednesday is a big day, so the interest rate decision. Obviously, I think everyone knows that there won't be any cut, but what is stated afterwards by Powell, that is going to really move the market. In my opinion, I don't think anything crazy is going to be stated. He's going to reiterate what he kind of stated 2 weeks ago for the most part, that the economy is strong, which based on the CPI and PPI last week kind of does validate that. But he's also going to state that given the circumstances, there won't be any justified reason for a rate cut. So again, you kind of have that at play. Aside from that, you have existing home sales on Thursday, and then Friday is pretty much nothing. You have one Fed speaker. So it is going to be a very big technical driven week. So in Lucid's case, that's somewhat hit and miss. So I'm going to go over that in a second. But there was this coming up this week as well. So Lucid Oasis did state that Lucid's going to be participating at the NVIDIA GTC 2025. So the last time I think they were there was in 2023, if I remember correctly. So they did take a year off, but I think that's good, right? Lucid fits in well. They have the partnership, kind of existing partnership with NVIDIA to help with the hands-free. So we should be having an update sooner rather than later about that as well. But unfortunately, they aren't actually participating. They have a booth that is stated right here. I was wasting so much time trying to scour through all of this. I saw Rivian has a couple where their CEO is RJ is presenting, and a lot of other companies, tons and tons, but nothing for Lucid. So unfortunately, I couldn't find it. Hats off to Dar. I want to give him a shout out. He actually just told me, hey, you know what? They're just having a booth. They're not presenting. So I think it's still kind of good. It would be better if Lucid actually did have a presentation, like a virtual one, as what all these are about, because Lucid has the technology. They have the partnership with NVIDIA. It makes sense for them to do that, but maybe with the recent management change, Peter would have been the go-to to actually host this, but maybe with his departure, if you guys get what I'm saying, maybe they don't have anyone to fill in for that. So maybe that's why Lucid didn't really do any of this. So let me know your general thoughts, but nonetheless, I think them still being there is a pretty good thing, should draw a lot of attention to their booth at least. But aside from that though, going into this upcoming week, shorts should play a very big part. Even on Friday, when the market was really pushing higher, you had shorts increasing 1.93 million shares. So they're hell-bent on really trying to break Lucid on a technical level, which again, I'll go over near the end of the video, but 23.32% of the free float is being shorted. That's what we're going into this week with. Works out to be 282.29 million shares overall are being shorted. As far as options go, so with it closing at 209, I believe that was where it closed at. So yeah, 209. That does mean that the $2 and sub, so the $1.50 and the $2 strike price options are in the money. So you have 4,000 ultimately. Won't really cause that much of a crazy spike or anything along those lines, but looking forward into this upcoming week, you have 6,000 at that 2, 16,000 at that 250, 35,000 at that 3, and then 58,000 at that 350. So if for whatever reason Lucid does start to really appreciate and start to move higher, you could see shorts a little bit more active. So potentially if Lucid is closer to the 250 or 3 by this coming Friday, then you might see shorts try to suppress it. A little bit of manipulation, but I think for those investors that have been in Lucid for roughly 6 months, you know Lucid's very heavily manipulated. But aside from that though, looking into this upcoming week, with it at 209, it is trading right above this S1. So 206 is going to be a strong support. And then flip side, 263 is going to be the next strong target / resistance. So Lucid, as what I even mentioned in my video yesterday, has been walking kind of a fine line, only because it's inches away from really breaking down on a technical stance. And I think that's what Lucid's shorts have as a plan. They want to break Lucid on a technical level. On the actual chart itself, there's honestly nothing really positive to really bring up whatsoever. It's below absolutely all the key pivotal moving averages, 50, 100, 200, ALMA. Even the stochastic RSI is in the neutral territory, so it's not really overbought nor oversold. So there's absolutely nothing really positive to bring up about this. Lots of individuals out there, large accounts are kind of signaling that Lucid's only has up from here. It's kind of a slippery slope. So essentially, one very key point that you really want to watch for, which it hit the low in November, is exactly where it is now. So shorts tried this game already, and I think they are really starting to build a lot of ammunition, and that's why ever since the Q4 earnings, they were hell-bent on just breaking Lucid on a technical stance. I think what their plan was post Q4 earnings was simply just to break it below the 50-day moving average, and then they were just going to sit back and relax. But then they started to realize, hey, we are causing a lot of fear, and plus a lot of kind of geopolitical issues and tariffs and whatever else was making it very easy for shorts. So I think shorts have just had a very easy time downwards. So now their next goal is to really break it below this 206. So in theory, just kind of watch for that overall. So let me know your general thoughts on that. But with all that said, I think it should be a fairly positive week. Like I said, coming from a data standpoint, Powell should really reconfirm that the economy is strong, really build some good momentum, really push it higher, assuming we don't hear any tariff talks. I've seen a couple funny memes over the last couple of days saying, hey, we've had one successful day where there's been absolutely no tariff talk, and the market was just standing, like clapping ultimately. Like, it was an amazing day on Friday. So hopefully we can have a full week with no tariff talk, and then essentially we should be able to really move higher. But one thing that I do want to pitch to you just as a potential idea, because I kind of read it, I'm like, hey, you know, that kind of makes sense. So the reason why Lucid and Tesla kind of investors don't really get along is because of the whole battle between Peter and Elon. But now that Peter's kind of stepped down and doing whatever he's doing, in theory, I saw this. Should Tesla buy Lucid and make Lucid their luxury arm? And I started to really think about that. I'm like, hey, does that make sense? Tesla clearly has more than enough cash to outright buy Lucid, just like 100%. But would that make sense? And in order for them to do that, they'd need the PIF for approval on a side note, right? So it is a very interesting type of scenario. So like I said, with Peter kind of stepping down, do you think that this is something that you would be open to? Would you want to be a subsidiary of Tesla, or just be part of Tesla? I guess ultimately that's depending on how it's structured. So yeah, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting idea. I know Tesla's not being seen as a very positive kind of stock right now, or as a company, because of a lot of sketchy things, but still doesn't change the plan that they have a lot of cash, and they already do have the infrastructure to really push Lucid. And so I think in reality could be somewhat beneficial, right? Because Lucid instantly would gain access to Tesla's infrastructure, be able to really produce on a large mass scale. Tesla in return would get Lucid's like licensing and all the technology, so it'd be kind of a win-win. I don't know. What's your general thoughts on that in the comments below? I know it's kind of a out-of-box idea, but honestly, I think it's something that maybe Lucid should maybe consider. I don't know. Again, it's whatever. It's the weekend. We can ponder whatever the hell we want. So hopefully everyone's having an amazing weekend. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. One final thing, pop over to my Patreon where I give buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. Many of them have been absolutely on point and bangers. Definitely worthwhile to pop over there and take a look. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.